With the entire state of Victoria under a total fire ban, temperatures are expected to soar ahead of a dangerous wind change. Country Fire Authority Chief Officer Jason Heffernan joins us now from the State Control Centre in Melbourne. Jason, thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you.
OK, what's the situation at the moment? Because we've got a couple of emergency warnings. Can you take us through the situation right now?
The temperature is starting to heat up. We're seeing 28 degrees already at Cape Otway, expecting 39 in Melbourne and obviously the mid-40s north of the state. The Grampians fire, as we unfortunately thought would happen on Christmas Day, quite late in the day, did take a run which resulted in 2 emergency warnings being issued for Bournes Hill and for residents south of Pomona. They are still in effect. The fire is still very much active and moving sufficiently so that this morning it's some 53,000 hectares with a fire perimeter of 300 kilometres. But it's hot. Those northerly winds are the challenge for firefighters today. They will come in and start across that fire ground very shortly, and then that westerly change will come through with peak gusts in the elevated regions of the Western District over 100 kilometres an hour. So it will be a very challenging day for firefighters, a very challenging day for communities, and that's why everyone in Victoria, not just those around the Grampians, need to be ready to take action today, have the Vic Emergency app with them, be able to get access to the Vic Emergency website. Expect power outages today. Expect internet issues and intermittency because of that power. Make sure that you've got access to your emergency broadcaster, a transistor radio. Today is one of those days where you need to make sure that you can stay up to date with the latest information and follow the advice of authorities.
When we hear things like conditions are the worst since the 2019 Black Summer bushfires, obviously a lot of people are still incredibly traumatised by what happened, but fire authorities must be as well. How do you deal with a day like today?
Our people are trained. They've been training for a long time to do this. They're practiced, they're exercised. All emergency services are gearing up and have geared up for days like today. We are very concerned about the conditions today. We've been forecasting above average fire potential for Victoria since spring. We didn't get any winter rain. We didn't get any real spring rain. Came into the summer season with the release of the AFAC bushfire outlook for Victoria, which had most of the western parts of Victoria and the southwest and parts of the northeast scheduled to be above average bushfire potential. And what we're seeing now with the fire in the Grampians is exactly that. Those predictions are playing out across the state. It's dry, and today, like today, where we've got those really high temperatures, those really dry northerly winds, those relative humidity factors, which is the amount of moisture in the air, which the lower the factor, the more intensity a fire will burn. They're in single digits, and any firefighter will know that under those conditions, firefighting will be challenging today. We've pre-positioned resources right across the state. We've brought in additional assistance from interstate right across the country, from Queensland, New South Wales, incident management teams from Western Australia and the ACT. So we've done everything we can to prepare for today. We need community to do your bit, making sure that you've got your bushfire survival plan, that you've put it into action for today. Today's one of those days where if you live in bushland areas or you're concerned, you leave now. Leaving early is always the safest option. So stay informed, take advice of authorities and act when you need to. Today will be the message for communities.
Jason, can you explain as well, some residents are being told if they want to leave to get out pretty early this morning. Can you take us through that advice?
In conjunction with the Bureau of Meteorology, we were sort of factoring in when we can start to see the real start of those hot northerly winds, and that's about 10 a.m. this morning for most parts of the state. So if you are planning to leave bushland areas or you're not sure what you want to do, our advice is don't be in those areas. You've probably got till about 10 o'clock this morning in order to do that safely. After 10 o'clock, those northerly winds will really start to kick in. Those temperatures will escalate very quickly, and the the fire dangers will also escalate very quickly. So leaving early is the safest option. If you don't have to travel through bushland areas today, we'd advise you not to. If you've got family and friends visiting for Christmas, have a chat to them. Make sure everyone in your household today knows what your bushfire survival plan is, and if something should happen near you, where you're going to go, what you're going to take, and who are you going to tell. If you do relocate, tell a family or a friend, a friend or a family member, so that everyone knows that you're okay should something happen.
Can you take us through as well? So you've mentioned you've got all these interstate crews coming. How many crews you've got working on the ground and will be deployed today, especially with the Grampians blaze?
Well, as I speak, specialist incident management teams are arriving at Melbourne Airport, and they'll be shipped off to strategic locations across the state. We're also bringing in arduous firefighting resources to coming into the state. Now, they'll arrive today. We'll probably start work tonight, or if at the very latest tomorrow. Today is one of those days where we'll suppress fire where we can, but fires will be very uncontrollable. So firefighter and community safety will be absolutely paramount today. So it's really about watching where these fires are, warning community ahead of the fires where they do move, and also be ready to respond to new starts. The majority of the state of Victoria is under those extreme fire conditions, so a fire could literally start anywhere today and will create some concern for firefighters. It will develop rather quickly under today's conditions. So it doesn't matter if you're in the Grampians, in Melbourne, Kilmore or Albury, Wodonga, you need to be ready to take action today because such is the conditions that fires can escalate very quickly.